about 2-3 months ago, my friend decided he wanted to sell his 1991 Ford Ranger, and I graciously threw an offer and bought it. Got a good price on it. My whole thoughts on it have been, what if I just fixed it up and sold it? Because I don't need a truck. I want a BMW Z4. Yeah. So, it needs a transmission, needs transmission issues. So I was going to just try to figure that out. And then I just dropped the whole transmission. The car had been sitting for a month, a few weeks, because I just didn't have any time to deal with it, didn't want to deal with it. And then something showed up on Facebook Marketplace one day where everything starts off fantastic. In the beautiful New Sumerian Beach right now, and this is where I pick up on my Facebook Marketplace adventure. Scrolling, I've thought about, LS the Ranger, that's what he wanted to do it for. I thought about a 305. The Power Tour is what made me believe, maybe I should put something cool in it. It actually works. The Ford Explorer with the same chassis came with a small block 302. And I'm like, wonder if that works. People have done it a bunch. And here's my small block 302. Yeah, it's a little crusty. It's about 15 years since it was pulled. It's a 1972. But it doesn't stop there. As you can see, it's pretty much dressed all the way you can for a 72. They didn't really have any accessories for anything. I brought a whole toolbox expecting, hey, I need to pull the heads off, probably need to pull the pan just to get it in here. No. And yeah, it's very crusty. The no when it comes to 302 small blocks is that they were produced for about 30 years. And most years were pretty different. So there was a time period of when you just didn't want them because they had weak blocks. The pistons were worse. Everything just wasn't good. We come to mine, which isn't that. Not quite that. It is the low compression one. This made about 170 horsepower when it came out. A huge margin. It was terrible slow. But what they did is they raised the deck height by 200, so just a little tiny bit. And they made the pistons dished. So the pistons were super dished. It lowered the compression to 9-1. But with my plans, that will not matter. This thing is going to be crazy. Block here is still not the best you can do, but it's second best. And it literally doesn't matter because it was $75. I got this entire thing for $75. Did take a 2-hour drive, but it's stuff that I can't handle. But one thing to do note is that it is not a Boss 302 or a Cobra, so it's not going to take all the power, but it is also not one of the bad blocks that crack all the time. When you hear 302s crack, that's what they're talking about. The Mexico blocks and the early blocks are the only ones that didn't crack. And the Mexico blocks were a certain time frame after these, but wasn't right after this. It's confusing. So this thing, what I'm doing is we're going to probably, as long as it's fine, they did say it blew smoke. So that could be valve seals, which it probably is, or piston rings, which doesn't matter because my plan is stock crank, stock rods. Both are cast iron, so they're very strong. But the pistons, obviously, like I said, are garbage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put way better forged pistons. Oh, we got a friend in there. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. We're going to do forged pistons in a carbed build still. I didn't want to go fuel injection because I don't know how to do that, and I am stupid. A few transmission options for these. You can go manual, you can do T45, T5, make a custom adapter or whatever, but those cost a ton of money. You can get a stock one for around $1,000, or you can do the C4, 5, or 6 for way cheaper, but you have to have an automatic. So my plan is do a C4, build C4, manual valve body. I don't have to deal with anything. This thing is going to be so bare bones. Obviously, big number equals big better, but the C4s are also way lighter. The transmission I took out of the Ranger, the 4G, I don't know, whatever they have, is stupid heavy. That thing was probably 300 and something pound on its own. The C4s are lighter because the C6s they're about the same size, and the C6s are stronger, but the C6s are heavy. The great thing about the 302 and C4 in the Ranger is that everything in the rear is just going to bolt right up. I don't need a custom drive shaft. I don't need a custom rear end. I don't need any of that to be custom made because it just works. It's designed for it. I am going to do a different rear end, obviously, in the Ranger because it's got a 7.5 inch, and that is glass. So I'm gonna do an 8.8, but since this is a Ranger, everything's just dropping. And quite some time since I last showed you anything. I picked up the engine. As of right now, I got it stripped to the bare block. Looked at it. It's all usable. Nothing actually wrong with it. There's no special things. No upgraded pistons, no rods, no nothing. Just plain old 302. The noise, but it's right here. You know, cylinder walls, they all feel good. Everything's fine. The only issue I did have is the lifters were like in there. Very dirty, not well taken care of. The cam was also very stuck. So if you look in the back, I actually had to punch through the freeze plug. All of the bearings are just annihilated. He put WD-40 on it, so you can't really see well, but right there, it's all scratched up. Cam bearings, you see that lip right there? That is not supposed to be there. And that though, it's actually all right. The rod bearings were completely toast as well. I'm gonna show you those right now. Got most parts in the truck right there. I'll tell you about those in just a second. But right in here, we got our stock pistons and rods, as well as the crank. The crank looks great. Let me not hit my car. Right in here, the rod bearings do have like noticeable scoring on them. I'm gonna be reusing the factory crank and rods on them. The pistons are gonna get aftermarket ones, obviously, if I'm gonna run any sort of booster nitrous. And these are the factory heads. They're early heads. They're pretty much only worth scrap metal. The old lifters were actually fine. They didn't have anything wrong with them, but these are the headers. I actually picked these up on Marketplace. The Ranger Swap specifically has a special style of headers, which is these right here. So that's going to go on the right side, just so it clears everything. You know, weird style. Picked them up for $60, and it says hopefully they'll fit. If they don't, it doesn't. But you know, whatever. It's a stock manifold, 2-barrel, scrap. Valve covers. I'll probably keep the valve covers because they're nice aluminum. You know, they distribute all the carbon stuff. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't need any of it. The other day I picked this up. This is a C4. Not exactly sure what it was out of. A 51 Chevy, but it was on a Ranger chassis, so it's full of, you know, it could be whatever. To my knowledge right now, stock torque converter, but I did take the pan off, and I did see it had just been rebuilt. If you look at the fluid is bright red, but not brand new fluid. It definitely does look like it's been a couple 100 miles. But a few things to note is it does have a shift kit with it. It's got an upgraded dipstick tube, and just in really good condition. I also picked this whole thing up for only $75, so I can't really complain about anything. I ever showed the Ranger, this is what all of the good stuff is going into, is this garbage right here. And right under here, we got our 3-liter Vulcan EFI. Hot garbage. I did try to get it started beforehand. That's why this is all rigged up. It wouldn't start, but it would crank over and it sounded fine. The truck does have factory AC, as you can see. So I am going to retain that. It's got the bench seat. It's pretty nice, actually. It looks apart, but everything's all in here. The bezel's there and there. Body's in surprisingly okay condition. It just looks like crap because it has been spray painted. So I do have a plan. I'm going to try to retain all of the AC bits I can. Swap all the accessories, as many as I can. I probably won't be able to use anything but the AC condenser, maybe onto the 302. I highly doubt the provisions are the same. I'll try to make something work, but as far as I know, this engine did run before I had it. I think we got it running. I don't remember at all. We'll have to be changing out the radiator because this radiator is so small. I mean, that's the whole radiator. I was seeing that a Mustang 1 would probably fit and work. Probably move that to the back. I do plan on doing a fuel cell. So it's going to basically probably do battery, fuel cell. Tank is underneath. It is not in good condition. I've already been underneath here to get the transmission out. That's why the whole engine's clocked back. One thing I do notice is that the steering is leaking. I probably made it worse because when I was jacking it up by that right there, it slipped because it's round on the bottom. It slammed into the bottom of it, but it'll be fine. You know, I could probably just pull one if I need to or rebuild it. They're cheap. He did put a set of headlights in here. They're fine or whatever, but you know, they're a little rough. The whole truck is, honestly. Same with the rear ones. They're a little rough. It does have a little bit of issues on the fenders. that's fine. But one good thing is that it does have a lowering kit, and it is have the Mustang wheels from a S95, so I'm probably just gonna end up keeping them just like that. Next time you'll probably see anything with this truck is when the engine's being built. You know, I didn't even bother taking a video of the teardown because it's just tearing down an engine. It's super easy, super simple, and kind of boring. So if I find anything special about it, you'll see. But I'm just going to throw a set of bearings in it, order pistons. Heads are going to be aluminum heads instead of the iron ones because they weigh way too much. It's going to be big. Everything's getting off marketplace pretty much, so it is a budget build after all. Let's see what else. If I can go EFI, I will. If I can get a good price, but I'll probably stay carb. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing special. Nothing crazy.